I would like to thank our four speakers who have really taken their time to share their wisdom and knowledge on the team which I just mentioned. CAWE, the Center for Accelerated Women's Economic Empowerment, is a membership nonprofit organization supporting women in export. And one of the areas we support our women is disseminating trade-related information. And one of our mechanisms reaching our women and other concerned ones is organizing platforms like those. So this is our third webinar, which we started during the past 2 months. And today's webinar, the theme I just mentioned, is considered quite relevant, particularly at this challenging time where companies are really struggling to survive. So we expect the theme that we are now discussing today will provide us tips to the companies and how on how they can get noticed, how they can be visible at this challenging and difficult time, particularly online. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, the CEDA Sweden, and also the program coordinating organization Initiative Africa for closely working with us and supporting this webinar. I now invite Evans from Africa 118. Africa 118 is a very close partner in organizing such kinds of platforms. So Evans will be moderating this session. Over to you, Evans.
All right, so let me take this opportunity to welcome everybody on the chat box. So, for today's webinar, we are going to talk about how to just a minute. I'm trying to pull out my document. So we're going to talk about how can business get noticed online and effectively boost sales and expand their reach during this COVID period. And with me, I have a group of 4 panelists who are very versed in these areas, and they're going to help us in tackling some of the issues that we're going to have. So without wasting time, I would like to just introduce the team that I have. I have Titus Baina, who is the Digital Marketing Manager for Africa 118. And also with Titus is Celestine Opere, who is the founder of Opere Consulting. And also we have Esther Kinuthia, who runs our own blog. She's going to tell us more about what she does. And also we have Wilfred, who is the program manager for Google My Business. So this is just an highlight. They'll have their own time to explain about what they are doing. So without wasting time, I'd like to invite Esther to start us off. So Esther, please welcome. And you might share if you want to share a slide.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you for everyone that is joining us today. We are really looking forward to a delightful session. So let me present my screen. Do you mind giving me access? When I try to share my screen, it says host disabled. As I wait to get access to be able to share my screen, I can begin with introducing myself. Yeah, so, my name is Esther Kinuthia. I have 6 years in digital marketing experience. I have consulted for over 5,000 SMBs in 64 different countries across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So, that's a lot of time, and that's because I'm passionate about helping businesses be able to solve the day-to-day challenges that they're experiencing and being able to achieve their KPIs through the power of technology. So today I am excited to share with you what I have learned over the years. Some of these things might sound small, or some might sound new, or something that you've never thought about, but you will not believe it, how sometimes it's the small things that, make a big difference. As you know, people usually say that, a ship does not sink because of the water around it. It's because of the water it allows, inside the ship. So some of these small mistakes that SMBs make is what you need to avoid to ensure that you are actually successful in the digital space. So I'm just going to try and see if I have been given rights to be able to share my screen. I'm still struggling to be able to share the screen. But if anybody can share it on my behalf, that can also be useful. Okay, perfect. Good stuff. It's never a webinar without a few challenges here and there. Okay, so today we're going to kick off the session with understanding how you can build your online presence. I'm just going to present them. And then we're just going to start, with the basics, right? So as an SMB, as a small and medium business, you have different options to create an online profile. In this case, I'm just going to define them as online assets. So you can decide to create a social media profile, and these could come from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or Snapchat. You can also decide to have a YouTube channel, right? I'm sure we all know what a YouTube channel is all about. You can also create a Google My Business website page. I'm delighted that Wilfred will be taking us through more on Google My Business. You can also decide to have a website or a blog. A website tends to be a static page, usually, traditionally is a static page with information about the business, about the services or the product. Or a blog, you could just decide to talk about, if you're, let's say, a nutritionist and you are talking about different bunch of things. So you just want to keep your readers updated on new information. Some of you could also have apps depending on the type of the business. And even for others, they might have a LinkedIn business profile. So these are all powerful tools that have been made available to small and medium businesses. And how we use them will really determine whether we are successful or not. Just because there are millions of people on these platforms does not guarantee your success. It's up to you to ensure that you are effectively using them and, in a way that will help you achieve your KPIs. So what are some of the best practices to use, these online assets that we've just gone through? And these are going to sound, maybe basic for some of you, but, once you start looking at your profile, you might realize that you're actually not observing them. So the first thing is that you need to use the same profile name and handle, the same profile picture in all your online profiles. And I'm just going to give you an example. So I am a blogger. I have a blog called missindependentblog.com where I seek to inform and inspire the youth. So yeah, this is my blog. And if you go to all my channels, you will always see the same picture. So if I go to the comment section, for example, if I want to comment on this interview that I did quite recently, and I go to the comment section, you'll be able to see this image with a yellow background. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see the same image, and you can still see the same cover picture, which is my logo and the motto. If you go to my Instagram page, you will still see the same Miss Independent blog, the same picture. If you go to my Facebook page, the same thing. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you'll still see, the same image and the same logo. So this really helps with building a brand. If somebody is, coming to my blog and they come here to click on Instagram, they're assured, okay, this is, the right, social media profile and so on. So it's important to ensure that for you as a business, that you've also done the same for yourself. And should you desire to switch, sometimes businesses go through a rebranding. It's important that you ensure you switch in all the profiles and not to forget any of them. The second thing is to ensure you update your about section and contact information. I'm sure some of you have tried to call a business. You go to their Facebook page and you try to call and the number is not working, or you call and someone answers from I don't know where, and you're just like, who is this person? I got this number from this page, and there's just a lot of confusion, you know. So some of you could be there, you're investing in your Facebook page and you're hoping to generate sales, but when potential customers actually call the number on your contact information, it's not working, and that's how you lose a sale. I love also in the about section, ensure that you give, enough information to the business. You need to encourage people to buy from you or to outsource your services. Like, why should I buy from you? So sit down and think about something creative, something inspirational about why I should buy your bags, or why I should buy your shoes, or why I should outsource the lawyer services from you, or whatever service that it is that you're offering. Don't be shy here. If you have a degree or if you have 10 years experience, put it out there. This is not a time to be humble. This is a time to blow your trumpet. Yeah, because you need to understand that these online profiles, they are there to speak on your behalf. You don't have the opportunity to pitch to the client. So your website should be doing you justice. So today, after this amazing session, have a look at your profile and ask yourself, if I read this about section, would I even be interested in this business? And if you're not, you need to change. And also ask different people, ask different customers, hey, what do you think about my about section? And get as much feedback as you can to ensure that you've positioned yourself strongly. Another thing that I see business fail thoroughly is not uploading high quality images or videos. This is your business, okay? You need to take high quality images and videos. Do not be lazy about this. Do not be cheap about this. Because here's the thing. If you're going to sell something that is worth $100, but you take a picture that makes that product or service not look like $100, people might even wonder why you're selling it at $100. So here there is just, do not take any shortcuts. Invest in high quality images and videos, and also try and update, as much as you can. If you're restocking, maintain the same quality. If you go to my blog, you will not see any low quality image. People know my blog is all about standards. And that's the same thing with you as SMBs. You need to ensure that you're just demonstrating high quality. Because when you demonstrate high quality, people will trust you. When I go to this business, I am going to get high quality. Create a hashtag and use it in all the images and videos you upload, at least where relevant, okay? Maybe sometimes you want to share something sensitive, so you cannot maybe use that hashtag. But, for most of the time, ideally, you want to be using your social profiles for business reasons. There should be no any other reason for you to use it. So create a catchy hashtag that people can always just recognize your business with. This also helps with searching. If somebody recognizes your hashtag, they can be able to search with it and find your product or find your services. Last but certainly not least, you have to have consistency in your social profiles. I should not go to a Facebook page and it was last updated in 2017. Somebody might not even know if you're still in business. If you were like, does this business exist? Is it fraudulent? Clearly, there's no action here. Like, I would be very concerned about buying from this business or outsourcing my services. I mean, if they're not even updating their social profiles, why should I trust them with my life? So it's important to be consistent here. And I know as SMBs, we are busy people. Okay, you may not have all the time in the world to keep on updating your profiles. By the way, these things, it's all about simplicity, okay, and taking things easy and breaking down your day. Because I also have a full-time job, and I sometimes I struggle. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I struggle and I do not post often, but I try to push myself because I know there's no excuse here. You can just decide every morning when I wake up, I put a post and then I go on with my day. You can even prepare the posts before bed. You say, I need to create a nice image to upload tomorrow, whether it's an offer or whatever. I know I need to share it tomorrow. You upload quickly, it's going to take you 5 minutes, publish, go on with your day. Yeah. So there's no excuses. If you have the financial capacity, hire an expert, a social media manager to do this for you. Now, how do you build a trustworthy brand? Okay, we've talked about having online assets, and we've talked about the best practices of, maintaining these online assets. So you can do all these things, but how do you build trust within your business? The first thing is respond to all your inboxes within 48 hours. These social platforms you have created so that people can actually engage with you, so that they can ask questions, so that they can get more information about your product or service. It is highly unreliable if somebody texts you and you take 2 weeks to respond. They probably will decide to go for another business or another service. So, and when you respond quickly, people will talk about these things. They'll say, yeah. When I inbox Miss Independent blog, she usually responds. By then, this is something that whenever I meet people who read my blogs, they tell me, Esther, I hear you respond to all your LinkedIn messages. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, that's interesting. I didn't think that this is something that people would go and tell other people. So even this lesson, it's because I learned it through my own experience. Yeah, people talk about these things. So ensure that you respond. And of course, when you're responding, you are adding value to the customer. Share customer success stories. Whether you are a service, whether you're offering a service, ask your clients, hey, how was it? How would you rate my service? And, share credible success stories, such, don't try to be fraudulent. When you try to be fraudulent, people will notice. Yeah. So just be honest and share genuine success stories, and, people will see, oh, so Esther Kinuthia was happy to outsource from Celestine. Then I might as well just go and outsource my services from Celestine as well. Yeah. Share as much information as required about your products and services. People need to know, like, if I see somebody selling shoes or selling clothes, I always wonder, where are they shipping them from? Are they from China? Are they from Africa? Are they from US? Where are they getting them? So personally, I believe in transparency. Just share as much information as you can, because this fosters trust in people, and people even want to answer questions. So once you're not even providing information, someone might just feel, I'm not even going to ask this person. Clearly, they don't even want to share information. Yeah. And again, this thing of DM for prices, we've seen people talk about it. I mean, I think there's a reason why people say DM for prices. Maybe they have their own reasons, but I don't know. Personally, I'm of the idea, just share your price. You know your value, share it. Those who will appreciate it will be able to buy from you. Update your website as required. I've told you I've consulted for over 5,000 businesses. It sounds like a very basic thing to say that, but you'd be surprised how businesses do not update their websites. I go on the landing page and I see this is a campaign from 2 years ago. Already that just communicates to the client, these people don't even take care of their website. I don't even know if I'm getting updated information. I don't even know, like, how can I trust these people? They're not even updating their website. Yeah, so kindly ensure that you update your websites. And then stick to your brand, okay? Avoid politics, avoid religion, and any other topics that can be controversial. If you're passionate about these topics, do them in your personal profile. This is your business profile. Your business has its mission and you have to stick to it, so that the business in itself is just, the profiles are strictly to just discuss business. Avoid politics and any other thing that might make people associate your business with something that they may not agree with you. So what are the website best practices? We've talked about updating it, but is that enough? So I'll take you through top 3 website practices that I always advise my clients. Your site should load within 4 seconds. This is the Google recommendation in terms of site speed. And this is because, they've done a survey with Ipsos and they've realized that 77% of smartphone shoppers are more likely to purchase from companies whose mobile sites or apps allow them to make purchases quickly. You don't want to be in a position where you're trying to buy from a business and it's taking 60 hours for you to check out. Somebody will get bored, they will get irritated, and they will just decide, you know what? It's never that serious. So how can you test your site speed? Google has provided an amazing tool known as Think with Google, Test My Site. So you just need to go there and then you click on that. And then all you need to do, I didn't get the right one. It's this one. Yes, good. And all you need to do is to put your domain. So we'll put Amazon. We all know Amazon is a giant with millions of users at a single second. What is their site speed? Thousands of businesses on the Amazon platform. Hundreds. Let's see what is their site speed. It's going to take some time, but it's an amazing, amazing tool. So you click. As you can see, Amazon, with all the millions of users, the site loads with 1.8 seconds. So it can show you in the different countries. In Poland, you can change to the United Kingdom, the United States, and you can see the rating here is good. And if Amazon can get it right, you have no reason to not get it right. As an SMB, you should be able to ensure that your site is loading very quickly on mobile. So when you do that for your site, you can actually get a chance to get your full report over here. And if you're working with a webmaster or if you're a tech expert yourself, you can be able to, Google will give you the recommendations that you need to fix for your site. All right. So we go to the second thing. It's important to personalize your site for your existing, potential, and recurring customers. You want your website to be interesting. You don't want to bore people with the same content 12 months, 1 year after the other. When I go to so-and-so's website, it never changes. It's just the same website all over. It's just boring. You need to ensure that your site, personalize it. Again, Google has done research to try and understand what is the importance of personalizing sites for SMBs. Let's go through the statistics. So they found out that 60% of smartphone users have contacted a business directly using the search results, or e.g. the click to call option. So for example, if you're an e-commerce business, you want to be able to ensure that you give businesses the opportunity, first of all, search for the products that they want to search for on your site. And if they just want to be able to call directly, especially if someone is on their mobile phone and they're like, oh, I like this product, I want to call this business, you can make it possible to click to call. You just need to work with a website master. You just tell them, hey, can you make it possible for customers to be able to click to my site and call me? They can do that for you. These are the results. Again, 58% of smartphone users feel more favorable towards companies whose mobile sites or apps remember who they are and their past behavior. As you all know, we all have different purchasing behaviors. We all shop differently. We all have our personal preferences. So you don't want someone to go to your site and now they just kill all the time. They have to start from scratch. The site does not remember them. It doesn't remind them which shoe they wanted to buy or which service they wanted to consider. These are things you just need to go and tell your webmaster, hey, I want my site to be intuitive. I want it to remember people. I want it such that if somebody comes back within the last 30 days and they were considering to buy a shoe, but they didn't buy it, can you show that shoe first? So just work with your webmaster and just tell them, please help me personalize my site. Again, I'm just going to go, through another 3 more statistics. 63% of smartphone users are more likely to purchase from companies whose mobile sites or apps offer them relevant recommendations on products they may be interested in. So this is very much, related to actually the previous point, as I was saying. If somebody bought a shoe from your platform and you realize this type of customer, they like to buy flats. So now when they come again to the site, I want to show them more flats that I have restocked. 51% of smartphone users are more likely to use a company or brand's mobile app when browsing or shopping on a smartphone because they can get rewards or points. Hey, if there's somebody who likes rewards and points, it's me. I will stick to a business so that I can get those points. Like, for example, I usually fly with Emirates from Dublin to Nairobi or even to Lagos. It is a very long flight that I might as well just go with KLM. But I want to maintain my silver. I was hoping to get to gold, but this pandemic decided, you're not going to get to gold. But I was really aiming for it, and that is the reason why I stuck with Emirates, because of those rewards and points that they give me. And even if I knew I could arrive in Kenya literally in a day, but I decided, no, it's okay, I will arrive the following day so that I can get those rewards and points. That's how far customers are willing to be loyal if they can get those rewards and points. And by the way, you don't have to feel like it has to be far-fetched or it has to be complex. Just make it really simple and just offer rewards and points, or even like referral, especially referral. You can tell your customer, refer another person and I'll give you 10% off your next purchase, something exciting like that. And then 50% of smartphone users are more likely to use a company or brand's mobile site when browsing or shopping on a smartphone because they don't want to download an app. Yeah?
Hello, Esther?
Yes, can you hear me?
You have 5 minutes to wind up. Yes, I can.
Yes, that's perfect.
You have 5 minutes to wind up.
Yes, I'm actually at my final slide. Thank you so much. Yeah,
right,
so exactly, just to finalize, ensure that you have a site that is mobile friendly because people might not want to download an app and so on. So yeah, and then the last thing, which I've highly emphasized on from the beginning, is use high quality images. Just outsource services from a photographer and a videographer. Invest in your business. So in case you're wondering, oh my goodness, Esther has said all these amazing things about having a great site. I don't know where to start. I don't know who to trust as a webmaster. I would recommend Squarespace. I have used different website providers such as Squarespace, WordPress, Blogger, and Wix. So far, I'm loving Squarespace. They can give you a really good template. It's so easy. You just need to click here, get started, and follow the steps. Literally, it's so simple. It is not complicated. You just need to choose a platform based on what you provide, whether you're an online store or a local business, weddings. Just choose your template. You will literally in a minute be able, look, if you just choose you want this site, your site is going to look like that as soon as you publish it. It's as simple as that. Yes, I would recommend that. And to finalize, if you're interested, I do consult for businesses. If you're interested to reach out, this is my email. We can chat later. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope that was helpful.
Thank you so much, Esther. So once again, I would like to commend the participants on YouTube for being patient. And I would just like to urge them to just sit tight. We have more to come. So now that we've learned about various ways of how you can have an online presence, so now let me take this time to welcome Wilfred so that he can actually take us through a platform you can use to, as one of the examples you can use to go online. Wilfred? You're having some issues, huh? So Wilfred seems to be having some issues. So now I will welcome Titus. Titus, are you in a position to kick us on? Titus?
Hello. Hi, Evan.
All right. Yes, Wilfred was seems to be having issues. So let me give this opportunity to
So I proceed.
present.
I proceed.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's coming along.
Okay. Please confirm when you see it. Hi, everyone. My name is Titus Minor. I'm the Digital Marketing Manager at Africa 118. So I've done this for over 7 years, and I've done campaigns for companies such as Toyota, Samsung, among others. I'm also very passionate about training SMEs on digital media usage, and I'm so happy to be here. So let me go directly to my presentation because of the time. I will start with the first slide. So the first and the most important thing that I like showing when I'm doing this is the digital marketing consumer journey, or the touch point. So this basically shows where a client first comes into contact with your business. So like, for example, if you look on the left, you can see there's digital advertising, there's mobile apps, there's corporate website, there's digital influencers or social media. So in those platforms, you need to have your digital content. And when you have this content, your users will then interact with this content, and ultimately this will lead into an online or an offline transaction. So we will also discuss about the channels available for this. There's social media, there's the ads, there's online advertising, there's social media, of course there's content in form of graphics, videos, and others. And then there's always insights, because at the end of the day, you'll have all that content, but you still need to do reports. You still need to have insights to know that whatever you're doing is working. Content is king, but distribution is queen. So basically she wears the pants, she runs the show. So you could have a lot of content, you have nice videos for your business, but if you don't show anyone, it's like lighting a lamp and putting it under the table. So that's where the advertising piece comes into place. Let's talk about social media content creation process. So once you're ready to create content for your business, you need to follow a cycle whereby you need to first research and get insights for your business. So the best thing to do this is usually by doing your social media audit. Where are you? How many followers do you have on Facebook or any other place? What sort of traffic do you have on your social media pages? And once you do that, the next thing is to set your goals. You want to be able to know what exactly you are looking for on social media. So someone would say, I'm looking for brand love. Someone else would say, I'm looking for leads. Another person would say, I'm looking to grow my community online. So you need to first set that goal to be able to know what exactly you're looking for. And then you need to come up with a content strategy once you have that. And then once you have those three things in place, then the next thing is to, of course, start creating the content for your brands. And then you also need to distribute, to post on the various platforms, engage with their audience, answer their queries. And then once you do that, you look at the insights, you look at your reports, and if it's working, you repeat the process over and over again. So you can also see, you need to do your competitor analysis. During the third stage, you also need to look at what other people are doing. You need to totally understand your audience. There are various tools that you can use to do this. For example, there's Google Analytics, which can help you with this. You can create personas, I'll talk about it. And then once you have all that, your content is ready to be curated. So a customer persona is one thing that most businesses do not do, and it's one of the most important piece of work that you need to do. It's a fictitious model of, or a character of your ideal customer. So for example, you're selling shoes and you're based in Addis. So you need to know which age group are these shoes appearing to. For example, if it's a dress, if it's maybe a wedding dress, which age group is this dress appealing to? So you normally need to do your own your own study, you look at the kind of people that your products appeal to, and then from there you can be able to build your persona. So for example, let me show you some two personas I built. So I was thinking of a financial institution, and these guys have different demographics. So the first person that this financial institution will be looking at is Abel, who is a 23 years old person working in an informal sector. So you can see we've been able to break down this character into his age, into which platforms he uses. And then from there, we can even be able to define the kind of social media platforms that we can best reach this person on. You can see we also have another one called Grace. So for Grace, is working in a different setting from what Abel is working on. And then from these two customer personas, then this brand can now be able to create content which will be aimed, which will be directed to these two people. Remember, when you're creating content, you do not create content for yourself, but rather you create content which will relate to those people that you're targeting. So that's your target audience. So when you're doing your content on social media, there are some various things that you need to consider. So for example, you need to integrate some of the key social media channels. For example, we all know that Facebook is one of the biggest social media channels. You could introduce WhatsApp, of course, for customer care and communicating with your users. There's LinkedIn, where you can get a lot of organic reach. You know, Instagram is very popular. In Ethiopia, Telegram is also very popular. So mobile is de facto. So that means all your strategies need to be mobile first, because by 2025, it's estimated that 75% of the world population will access the internet on mobile. So you also need to create content which potentially drives conversations. So that's why I was telling you, you need to create content that will relate very well with your target audience. And then most social media platforms have been promoting video content, especially like you can see Facebook is really promoting video content. So through use of video and visual content, so that means if you can do Facebook Live or Instagram Live, you could do stories, you can do rooms, among others. So those are some of the marketing considerations that you can have for your content. And then you also need to understand your audience. For example, if you're targeting millennials, what are you potentially looking at? So these guys use platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, you know, TikTok. So some people argue that their brand is not for TikTok, but you know, brands like UNICEF are now using TikTok. So that means any other brand can use it. And then, of course, the millennials love sharing their significant moments in their social media. So you'll see people who post their weddings when they go out. So that's where the millennials live, basically. And then once you are able to totally understand your audience, then that's where you come and create something called a content calendar, where you say, this is what I'm going to post today, this is what I'm going to post tomorrow. So that basically means you will not talk about your products the whole day long. So on Monday, you can talk about something educative, because you also want to be seen as a thought leader in your industry and space. On Tuesday, you can reshare and repurpose content from other industry leaders. And then on the other day, you can now talk about your products. So the trick is basically showing people that you can actually help them. You can, by giving them important messages and educative content. And once they get on your platform, then you can now tell them about your products and services. So once this is done, you can now plan on how you're going to do your updates on social media. So most of the social media platforms, such as Facebook and Twitter, can actually show you the time that you can get the best engagement. So if you look at the analytics section, you can see that. And once you see this, you can plan to have and to update your social media contents. So that's on social media. And like we said, good content is not good enough if it doesn't reach the intended target audience. And that's why digital advertising is very important. So digital advertising, just like the name, it basically means advertising on digital platforms. So any promotion that's using digital channels is a digital advert. So for example, when you on your phone using your app and then an ad pops up, that's a digital ad. When you go to YouTube and then before you watch your video, another video comes and tells you to skip, that's an ad. And of course, there's social media. So the beauty of this is because of the fact that you can be able to advertise or to target based on various things. For example, based on people's behavior, based on their digital, the content that they consume on digital platforms, where they live, their locations, the device they are using, among other factors. So it's only right that important platform, that's Facebook. So Facebook has a myriad of ways how you can be able to target. So you can target based on the time, the day. So you can say, I just want to have this ad run on this day. You can have your targeting where you say, I want to target this city alone or this suburb. You can even do a neighborhood. You can do that based on network operator. So for example, if it's Airtel, if it's Telecom, you can just say, I only want my to reach these people. Depending on the content that these people consume, you can target, sports-based websites, shopping-based websites. You can even do based on a device. So, for example, assuming you're selling products to college students, like for example, you can say, I just want to advertise to this kind of phones that your data shows that these people have this kind of phones. On Facebook, there are various ways, there are various type of ads that you get. You can do an ad just for brand awareness. You can do an ad for traffic where you want people to visit, a page or a WhatsApp or a messenger. You can be able to do an ad for engagement where you do a post and you want many people to see that post. If you have an app and you want people to install that app, you can also do an ad on that. There's video, there's lead generation. So let me mention one or two here. So statistics show that 75% of target audience, or most, like almost 75%, for example, in Ethiopia, spends their time on social media and other online platforms. So when you are advertising on a platform that people spend their time, then that basically means you get them in their natural habitat. So one of the most important type of campaigns is Facebook video ads, whereby you have an ad and you want this ad to be seen by more people. So you do your targeted ad. And then you will be able to get more viewers for that. Just a minute, sorry for that. And then for traffic, you want people to visit your website, or you want people to send you messages on WhatsApp or your Messenger or Telegram. You have a URL whereby you'll send people to that particular page. So there's lead ads. So what lead ads do is, for example, assuming you have a business like you're in real estate, so you do an ad, and once people see this ad, they click on it. The ad will prompt them to input their personal information. So it could be name, phone number, email, where they work, among others. And this is one of the best ways whereby you can be able to get to grow your own database of people interested in your services. So Facebook, Facebook and Instagram are sisters. So basically almost everything I mentioned about Facebook also applies to Instagram. So we mentioned LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also one of the most important platforms. And according to them, they say that 4 out of 5 LinkedIn members drive business decisions. And LinkedIn has 2 times the buying power of average web audiences. So I think you can bear with me even when you're on LinkedIn. I'm sure most of you, when you go to LinkedIn, you don't go there to catch the latest gossip about some celebrities or something like that. You go there to interact and network with other professionals. And that means this is the right place if you want to advertise, for example, to a director or to someone who makes a business. LinkedIn is the #1 platform for business-to-business lead generation, because this is where you'll be able to say, I want to target a CEO, and this person will actually be a real CEO, not like on Facebook where someone will say, I'm the CEO of my life. And when you do your ad, you'll still be able to target this person. These are the types of ads that you can be able to do on LinkedIn. So you can do a carousel ad where someone sees different kind of different image, more than 2 images. You can do a video ad. You can do a conversational ad where someone will see an inbox come to you, and then from there you can be able to answer. Finally, on social media, let me mention about Facebook and Instagram Shop and WhatsApp catalog. So a business can be able to set up a Facebook or Instagram Shop whereby you will be able to display your products and services and descriptions, so that when someone comes or visits your Facebook page, they can be able to, to browse on your catalog of products. Then you can also set the same on your WhatsApp for Business, where now you'll put all your products, and then if, for example, someone tells you, I need you to give me like a list of your products, you just need to share the link and they'll be able to interact with it. So away from social media, we have Google Ads, which Google Ads is one of the most important types of digital advertising. I'm sure most of you at one point or the other have gone to Google and searched for a certain service. So the first type of Google ad is search, whereby someone will come search for a product. And the second one is display ad. We'll talk about this shopping ad, and then there's YouTube ads. So one of the most important things why we use Google Ads is because you will be able to strategically target your customers. So based on things like you can target someone who previously engaged with you, someone with strong intent to buy your products. So for example, if I go to Google and search for lard for sale, I'm definitely interested in that. And then you can be able to target your people similar to your current customers. So let's start with the first one. It's called search ads. It's also called pay per click. And the reason it's called pay per click is because of the fact that you only pay when people click on your ad. So you have your services, and then you have keywords. So someone will come and search for your service, and Google will do something called an auction, and then your ad will be able to show. But now you'll not be able to pay until this person clicks on this ad. So that's why it's called pay per click. So like I've mentioned, high intent makes it one of the most powerful advertising platform. So your ad will show, and then you can also be able to show other things like, where your store is located, your phone number, so that people can directly call you from the ad, among other factors. There's display ads on Google. So the good thing about this is you will be able to reach people who are not searching for your product. So these people are on YouTube, they are on their favorite mobile app or their favorite website, and then your ads will be placed on those placements. This YouTube, most of us have interacted with this. So it could be the skippable ad, or it could be the discovery-oriented ads, whereby, for example, you go search for your favorite musician, then there's that ad which comes on top of the search results. It's usually very, very good, especially when it comes to getting word out there about your brand. So the last thing I can mention is about something called retargeting. So research shows that only 2% of web traffic conversions happen on the first visit. So most people visit a website, and then they browse, they view what you have, and then they leave only to come later. So retargeting basically means you will be able to retarget to these people who came to your website, but they did not convert. So there are these ads which most people say they follow them all over the internet. So that's retargeting. So it basically means that you have this, your business will be on top of their minds, so that when now they are ready to make a purchase or a conversion, then they will think of you. So in a nutshell, that's my presentation. Thank you very much for having me. So in case anyone wants to reach out to me, my email is tminor@africa108.com. Thank you very much. Let me welcome my colleague, Wilfred.
All right, so thank you so much, Titus. Thank you so much, Titus. First as well for the presentation and performance. So the first speakers have spoken about how to go online, some of the strategies to use. I'm also here to share one of the platforms that as a business owner you can be able to use to help you boost your sales and your visibility on the digital platform. And this product is called Google My Business. So let me just share my screen. Okay, let me share my screen. All right. I hope I'm now clear. And yes, I hope I'm now clear. So I'll go ahead and share my screen just to show what I'm going to present. Okay, so maybe by start, I'll do a quick introduction of Google. So over the past 4 years, I've had an in that duration of 1 year, we had driven about 3.7 million website visits, which means out of that initiative, we had helped as many as 3.7 million consumers to websites and just maybe make inquiries or see what businesses are offering. These are potential sales that, in addition to that, also are just requesting for directions. It was about 12.4 million. So in terms of impact, that's something that SMEs were able to help that tremendous impact on that. So with that, allow me to move straight into my presentation, where I'll be speaking about the product itself. So ideally, most of you are asking what Google My Business is. So just in simple terms, this is an online platform for your business. It's an online business platform that gives you access to. So the first one is Google search, where ideally you'd go to look for any piece of information. And the second platform is Google Maps, so where you'd ideally go in terms of navigation. So you want to move from point A to point B, and you'd like assistance with, let's say, a virtual map. That is Google My Business. And if you're able to see my screen, I've presented both scenarios where somebody does a search on Google search and how the profiles appear, and another person does a search and how they appear on Google Maps. In terms of why it's important, having your profile on Google My Business ideally gives you a 29% chance of leading into a sale. So which means by the fact that you have your business profile on Google, you're already at a higher chance by 29% of getting a sale. So that's how impactful the platform is. But of course, you'd like to be in a place where there is traffic. So you don't want to, let's say, if you are a shopkeeper, you don't want to set your shop in the middle of a forest because nobody will ever come there. So we look at statistics based on how many people are coming to this platform so that you can be able to put your products or maybe your profile onto it. So on a monthly basis, we have about 100 billion website visits that are generated from the platform. So you can be able to see how huge that traffic is. And it's something that as a business owner, you can be able to leverage on. Still looking at why it's important, I'll try and cover things which make Google My Business an ideal platform for businesses in Ethiopia. So the first one is it allows your business to stand out, and we'll see why that's possible. In addition to that, it allows you to engage with customers or potential customers. And then last but not least is the fact that you can be able to leverage on the insights and analytics that the platform help you to capture. So starting with the first, which is standing out, the platform allows you to share basic information with consumers. So these are information that a consumer would wish when they went online to look for either a service or a product. So for example, if I go online, if I'm looking for, let's say, a barber shop, and I will be interested maybe to know what time they open and when they close. So the platform will allow me to share that information. I'll be interested to know where they're located. Again, the platform will give me that capability to share my exact location of where I operate. If I need things like linking it to my website, I can be able to do that. If I have products and services that I offer, again, the platform allows me to share that information with the consumer. In addition to that, since human beings are more pictorial, the platform allows you again to be able to upload pictures and videos of your product. So if you couple up all this, then it makes your profile to stand out based on the richness of content that you're able to avail to your consumer all at a single go. But it's not all. The platform also allows you to be able to create a simple website that you can use. So most of the businesses always want to start a digital journey, but capital is always a challenge. Look at setting up a website, it might cost you a little more. And sometimes you don't have that fund. Instead of sitting and waiting until you get the fund is when you can start. Google My Business platform allows you to have a simple website which is optimized, just as we saw Ensta demonstrated on how to make sure that your website is loading faster. There are a number of things that you need to set on the background, and all this are already set on the Google My Business website that you'll be creating. And the beauty of it is that you can be able to do it in less than 10 minutes, and it doesn't require you to have development knowledge. So you couple up the ability to showcase all that rich information about your business and the ability to create a free Google My Business website that ideally enables your business to stand out. Okay, so that is the first reason why you need to consider having your business on the platform. And then we move to the second one, where you have the ability to interact with consumers or your customers. And there are quite a number of functionalities that the platform unveils, which you can use, starting with the ability to review your services. So as a consumer, I visit your store, maybe I get your services. After that, I need to tell the world, or maybe I need to share what my experience was. So the platform allows you to do exactly that. And as a business owner, you can then now use that as a feed in terms of rating the services. For areas where you are doing well, of course, that's something that you need to maintain. For areas where you are not doing well, then internally you look at how you will be able to improve it so that you have a good performing business. In addition to that, the platform allows you to share promotional messages. So if, let's say, you're a restaurant, you have one of the offers on, let's say, on a Tuesday, you can be able to inform your audience using the posting capability that the platform unveils to you. Okay. In addition to that, consumers can ask you questions and you can be able to respond to them. So again, all these functionalities, you put them together. Ideally, they allow you to interact with your customers, either getting feedback or questions which you can respond to. And this helps in terms of closing the sales. Okay, so that is the second reason why you need to consider having a Google My Business profile for your business. And then I'm going to look at the last one, which is the analytics. So the beauty about the platform is that it has an inbuilt analytical platform that is able to collect information as people interact with your profile. And that information is presented to you as a business owner. So you can be able to use that that insight now to help you grow further. So one of the things in terms of analytics that you get is the kind of search terms, so some of the words or phrases that people always type for them to get to your platform. Okay, so how can you be able to do that? Titus spoke about running digital advertisements. And one of the key things that you are to use were the keywords so that people can easily find you. So as a first step, you can collect most used keywords from your Google My Business page and then use those keywords to run advertisements to help you grow more. Okay. The other thing that you collect is in terms of how many people are finding you. So as a business owner, you're able to know how much of traffic are you gathering to your store, and is this traffic turning into a sale? Okay. In addition to that, you'll be able to know the kind of actions people take. So once I find your business profile, action as a consumer do I take? Do I visit your website to find additional information, or do I request for direction to come to your store, either to make a purchase or to do an inquiry, or do I make a phone call again just to make a follow-up on either a sale or an inquiry? So having this analytics as a business owner, ideally, if you use it very, very well, then it helps you again to grow your business. So those are the three things which I believe as a business owner, you need to consider and adopt the Google My Business platform for your business. So as I mentioned, the first one is the platform allows you to stand out, and that is based on the fact that you have all the necessary information that a consumer wants packaged into which is easily accessible, starting from contact information to hours of operation to your location to product and services that you're offering. In addition to that, you can get a free one-pager website that you can use as your way to develop a robust website. So that is the first one. The second one, we looked at the ability to engage with the customers, and we've seen things like the reviews where customers can give you feedback. We've seen things like questions and answers that the platform allows you to do. We've also seen the ability to share promotional posts where you can be able to share updates or maybe offers that you're running as a business. So all that helps you to engage with your customers. And then last but not least, we've looked at the ability for the platform to generate for you insights that you can then use to transform your business. So whether it's in terms of collecting information on actions that people take, you have that available as the business owner. So those are the three major points why I think today, if you are present on this webinar, you should not leave this place without having a business profile for your website. So if you're interested in a Google My Business website, how do you go about it? The beauty of this is that we are here to help you. So all that you have to do is just follow the link that is on your screen, google.africa118.com. google.africa118.com. So once you go to that URL, you can either call us directly or request us to call you back to help you with the setup. Okay, so go to google.africa118.com. Once you're on that page, you can either reach out to us, make a phone call. We have a team in the office that is available from Monday to Friday from 8 to 5, who will receive your call and help you. But the other option is also you just request us to call you back, and we'll call you back, listen to the kind of challenge or issue that you're having, and we'll be able to help you sort it. So whether you've created a Google My Business platform and it's pending verification, that's something we'll be able to handle within a day. Whether you'd like to have a business profile for your business, then again, we'll be able to help you out. And ideally, that is how you'll get to us or to me. So I'll stop at that point. If there will be additional questions, again, you can use the same channel to ask the questions, and we'll be able to get back to you. So I'll end at that point, and thank you so much for your attention.
All right, thank you so much, Wilfred. So before I give Celestine opportunity, let me just take a few minutes to recognize those who are on the chat box. So we have Mulu. She's from Mulu Biogenic Spa. I guess maybe in Addis. From Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us. So let me take this opportunity to welcome Celestine. Celestine, the floor is yours. Wilfred, you can stop sharing so that Celestine can share.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this seminar. Really looking forward to sharing the few insights that I've got. Am I allowed to share? Okay. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? I'm assuming everyone can see my screen. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. Looking forward to sharing a few insights regarding what I do. Just a short introduction about what I do. Just as explained earlier on, I'm Celestine Upere, and I'm the founder of Celestine Upere Consulting. I have consulted at various capacities from the Google's Digital Skills Africa program. I'm currently consulting for Facebook's Digify Pro program and the Instagram Challenge program that they had for businesses and careers. And I'm the current Women Will lead for Nairobi. So what I will focus on mostly is what relates to what most businesses have gone through, especially with the COVID pandemic and post. What are we as businesses looking forward to embracing in terms of the digital space, and how to put ourselves out there and retain our customers and get new ones, because this is the era of going digital. My main emphasis that I always emphasize to business is that all businesses were affected by COVID, whether you are ready to admit it or not. And one of the things that really stood out was how businesses can go digital. My colleagues or my fellow panelists have explained in detail. Esther has explained how it's very crucial to have your online assets in place, and also the online branding, the digital branding, how important it is. Wilfred has touched very strategically and crucially on how to have your business on GMB, which is very, very crucial, especially in the current times, for you to be discovered in search. And Titus explained very, very detailed and very, very well on the importance of having a digital marketing strategy or having a digital marketing campaign linked around your business. And all this is also depends on the data and the statistics. That is what guides businesses to decide whether they want to use whichever platform that they choose to use when they are going digital. One thing that I always tell businesses, especially post-COVID, is data, as we know it, is the new oil in the modern world. But empathy, especially post-COVID, is free data. Most businesses have realized that when they're empathetic with their customers and really putting themselves in their customers' shoe, they get free data without even asking the clientele for their data. The two things that I'm going to focus on at a detailed expense is businesses, for them to go forward and be able to survive post-COVID. Number one is having a social media presence, and number two is having a digital marketing strategy. These are two very crucial aspects that, as a business, if you don't have, you should in retrospect, look and see how do you start getting yourself online, especially having a social media presence or a digital marketing strategy that includes also a GMB. One of the things that businesses have to do is to look at where they are at and start having a list of what they think needs to be done, so that if they are going to consult probably an expert or consult an agency to help them have relevant digital footprint or digital strategy, they need to know where they are at, or they need to know, at least have an idea where they think they want to be going or what their shortcomings are. This enables the strategists to understand that you understand where you are at, and you know where you want to be, and you know where you need help. And that enables the strategists to be very effective and very on point when they are starting to help you. One of the things that I always let businesses understand is that during the COVID pandemic, who are the potential winners or the losers in the short term, especially when the pandemic struck? The circles on my left-hand side, which are in red or maroon, showcase the potential businesses that were losers in this whole pandemic. And most of the businesses that you can see that were highly affected were tourism and aviation, which includes logistics, real estate, and manufacturing to an extent. The potential winners were definitely the medical supplies, the people in food processing, and personal healthcare. And the big winners were also ICT and e-commerce. So it's very crucial for us as business people to understand where does our business lie in this whole narrative of the potential losers and the potential winners, and also start to recollect which areas can we tap into to be able to survive. Because at the moment, the stage that we are in as businesses is survival mode. And the only way to survive is going online and be discovered on a digital platform. What we have realized, especially with the pandemic, is that the era of collaboration is very big. And we saw it also when the pandemic started, when all the tech companies, which include Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and Microsoft, which ideally we look at as competitors against each other, they came together and decided, how do we merge together to forge a new way ahead? And that is what businesses should do. Your potential competitor in a different field would, if you collaborate together, you'd ideally end up discovering that you'd have each other's strength in pushing each other forward in terms of survival and in terms of continuity. I have a few narratives of what businesses, especially in the East African space, did to be able to survive COVID. And I'll look at different categories of businesses or different industries. One of the industries that I look at is the hospitality space, the banking space, and just different aspects, manufacturing, agriculture in terms of flour production. I will give certain examples that will enable you to also, in retrospect, look at your current business path and see where can you tap into or have an idea of pivoting or introducing a different income stream apart from the one that you had or the one that you relied on or the one that died for you to be relevant. I'll start with the Tribe Hotel, which is a highly luxurious hotel situated in Nairobi. What they did is that they introduced a package where they just focused on organizations that have personnel that need to work together for projects, and they need to be safe. So one of the packages that included was to have personnel which pay monthly basis, and they needed a 3-month commitment or 60 days package, which included, which they gave a rate of $5,500. And the package included accommodation for 60 days, health insurance, which was very vital, 24-hour security, emergency in terms of ambulance and helicopter, daily entertainment, laundry, and also the use of their restaurant. That enabled the people who are taking advantage of this package to be able to live together as a community and be assured that all of them are safe and they are not also compromised. in terms of moving in and out, and also be able to deliver their projects safely. Standard Chartered Bank Kenya, which was very, very forward thinking in terms of how do they help their communities that have been affected by COVID. They immediately put in a fund, a $50 million fund to help their SMEs. This enabled the clients to understand, at least the bank, which is ideally making interest of their savings or of their business, is having some empathy towards their fate due to the pandemic. Aware of how other businesses or manufacturing industries pivoted was done through the health or the health safety angle. And two examples that I have that are really relevant was the EABL, which is the East African Breweries Limited. They normally produce alcohol. So what they did is that they shifted immediately to start producing sanitizer that would support the risk groups and heroes at the front line when the pandemic struck. This enabled the government of Kenya to contract them and enabled the workers who are in these factories to retain their jobs and be able to be paid. And the government used most of the funding that they had gotten through for the pandemic from the World Health Organization to be able to support the continuity of East Africa breweries, since alcohol had, the consumption of alcohol had greatly reduced. And there was it was not a priority as compared to sanitizer. So definitely East African breweries, to be relevant and also to sustain themselves, they started producing sanitizers. I have some statistics that involve YouTube monthly consumption. Unfortunately, I didn't have for Ethiopia. I only had for January 2020 for Ethiopia, and I thought that was not relevant. Immediately I get the relevant statistics, at least after the pandemic or post-pandemic, I would gladly share. So YouTube monthly reach in February 2020 in these three countries, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa, was the stipulated numbers are above the country flags. And within 1 month from February to March 2020, you can see the rise of content consumption or the consumption of content, either through content that was being produced and being consumed by the participants, especially during the lockdown. You can see there was a significant increase in people going online to consume content. This enables you to understand that it is now very relevant for you to have content that's being consumed, because that's an area where people will discover you and they have to look at what you're creating in order to produce. A company that really used the empathy card to reach to their audiences, Kenya's Safaricom, which lived up to its motto of always being there for the citizens by introducing diverse metrics to make their customer benefit from their product. One of the things they did was that they highly reduced the bandwidth or the data to their clientele, so that more people could consume content and more people could at least be able to connect with each other, either through YouTube or through Zoom or through the different platforms, and also relevant church programs. They also zero-rated hospital bills when you're sending payment through their platform, and they enable also people to be able to send money for free at a certain amount for about 3 months, which really made a huge difference for people who had been locked down in Nairobi and they had to send money to their families up country. Different and diverse businesses embraced different methods of survival. As you are well aware, most of the people in the hospitalities, their businesses closed. And some of the examples that I've got here are businesses that were like the Home Cooked with Chichi. This was an Airbnb business that realized with the closure of Airbnb and the closure of hospitality, they had to sit and think how they are going to be relevant and survive. One of the things they did was to embrace offering good home cooked meals at a very affordable rate, because one of the things that they were standing out for is being able to offer very good home cooked food for their clients. So they pivoted and continued having daily menus that they could offer fresh, healthy meals to families who were unable to cook. The other type of business was Nina's Fries, which decided to start offering raw peeled potatoes for people who want to cook for themselves, and they had a minimum order also. And also they could deliver chips, French fries, or fried potatoes, depending on what you want. So you had to order a certain amount at a certain fee, and it made life very easy for people who were under lockdown, and also it made them to be able to sustain themselves in terms of the survival mode. The next example I'll tell you is the small bites, where chefs who understood the importance of cooking the small bites packs, they started having small bites packed in different categories and delivering them to homesteads. That enabled them to become sustainable, even if the eateries had closed. And some of them use their Facebook platforms, like Jonathan Mukoshi, who used his Facebook platform to showcase his skills as a chef, and was willing to come in to be able to cook for people in their homes. WhatsApp as a platform was very well taken in terms of WhatsApp groups, is it called micro influencers or influencer marketing. This is an area that people really understood. If you wanted, let's say, fresh produce at an affordable rate, a lot of WhatsApp groups were used as a distribution channel for distributing this kind of products. And then there was also the use of mobile money. That is when most businesses understood the importance of the relevance of going fintech. So in as much as you're also having a digital footprint, showcasing your payment channels and the convenience of also the logistic angle of how your client is going to get your product or service, and the payment method is very, very crucial and very, very vital whenever you are also advertising yourself. And good images are relevant in today's time, just as Esther has mentioned, because they're the ones that sell you and they're the ones that brand you. So the images, ideally, if you're especially in the business of food, you have to make sure that those images are the ones that they're organic, or you produce them yourselves. So it's good to invest in high quality images that are original and not stock images. Bonga Points really enabled, which is a Safaricom product of you get points as you talk. There was the empathy element of being able to share your Bonga Points and transfer them to families that were facing food shortages. And that was the empathy side of Safaricom that was brilliant. And as a brand, it went a long way in empathy and understanding people. Pivoting does not necessarily mean introducing a fancy menu or even looking out of your space. One of the things that an eatery, which was called Taxkiz, they introduced the Kibanda menu. In Nairobi, the Kibanda menu is local food. So they understood there was a margin of people who, number one, they don't have, they live alone. They don't have very proper kitchens to be cooking heavy meals every day. And there was that category of people who were catered for with the Kibanda menu, which means local food at a very subsidized rate. So eating healthy. So health is an aspect that COVID brought out in terms of the immunity level. Are you eating healthy so that you can have a high immunity? So local food or fresh food became very relevant. Copia, on the other hand, is an e-commerce platform that understood the relevance of delivering produce or stock to people in the rural areas, and their niche was specifically e-commerce for the rural areas. So if you are located in the city, you would be able to buy stock for your family that is in the rural areas. And pre-boiled traditional vegetables, just as I said, health is an aspect that really people started being very conscious of what they're consuming or what's boosting their immunity. And there was a very big fallback into people starting to consume traditional vegetables. And most of also the amazing thing about this foods and flavors shop, it's an e-commerce platform that came out from the flower farms, because the flower business went shut down with the closure of the logistics of the air travel. What the flower farmers had to do was pivot or innovate on how they are going to survive this whole period. And one of the things they did was to start producing traditional vegetables and selling them to people who sell pre-boiled food. So that was an avenue that was a necessity that came up out of the pandemic and survival. As you're well aware, one of the things that is very relevant is groceries orders tripled as Kenyans shop online during the pandemic. That enabled people to understand the importance of e-commerce, or even going online, or even being found digitally. And that is where the relevance of digital marketing, a digital presence, a digital footprint, having a Google My Business presence is very, very important for businesses going forward. One of the things that I always tell people who are in my programs or using my services is, as this business hack tweet says, if you don't come out of this quarantine with a new skill, a new side hustle, or more knowledge, it clearly shows that you never lacked the time to do all that. What you lacked is discipline, because the quarantine period for us enabled people to really sit and think of even upskilling to different careers or different different income streams if you are a business, because you could not survive with one income stream. One of the businesses that came out of this pandemic that I found very innovative is this made in Kenya targeted business that started to introduce curated gifts for virtual events. So this came out of small cottage industries, because logistics, remember, was closed. The international market, the rules and the regulations that allowed screening of things to make sure that they are okay for transportation, created a necessity in terms of looking even for a local market. So one of the things was creating speaker gift boxes and participant boxes for virtual events, that especially for big corporate organizations and NGOs that are found locally in Kenya. So this is a very specific gift box business that promotes local products, at the same time a continuity in enabling local artisans to be able to survive the pandemic. One of the things that I really look at when I'm looking also at these consumer journeys and case studies, and also stories that are of businesses that have been affected by COVID, is looking at how even consumers, because businesses have to look at how consumers have changed every aspect of their life, from work to learning to consumption, communication, even life at home, and how they look at their health and even travel post-pandemic. So these are the things that will also address and enable you to make calculated decisions on which way forward as a business. The digital shift that the pandemic brought up is something that businesses have to look at, especially when they look at the statistics, like what e-commerce, the growth of e-commerce that happened in 10 years happened during the pandemic in 8 weeks. And also when it comes to telemedicine, nobody thought you would be comfortable in talking to a doctor or telling your doctor your diagnosis probably through a Zoom call or through a phone call or through a WhatsApp call. But the pandemic made it very necessary. If you're not a COVID patient or you're not a very high risk patient, if you're a high risk patient, it was better for you not to go into the hospital, but get telemedicine consultations. And then also participants in terms of remote working, there was a time there was nobody going into the office. Remote working became the new normal. Also, remote learning followed the same suit, and it's still the same relevance here. And also online entertainment. So we have become more online, and we are much more comfortable adapting to online means. So it is very relevant for companies and businesses also to understand how their consumers are even getting information about their products. What are they even purchasing, or what their interests are, and where are they located? Are they located on the website? Are they located on the social media platforms, or are they located in different channels in terms of different WhatsApp groups? And how are they experiencing their buying journey or their consumption journey or their ordering journey? These are things that are really, really important and crucial for a business to start looking at and addressing before they think of which direction to take. And also the importance of having different income streams as a business is real, and it's very, very logical. So what would the next thing be for me? As a last my last words to this group of entrepreneurs is you have to look at your business and identify at least one or two of your competitors and note down how they are using their digital strategy. Even how are they being viewed that from a digital perspective, especially in these terms of COVID, because it will enable you to understand also what you need to be doing as a business. And also, are they using it to retain their clients in the same manner? This will enable you to decide whether you're going to use the same strategy or even to outsource. So thank you so much for sitting through this whole presentation that I've taken so quick in the interest of time. And in case anybody needs to reach me for a strategy, our online presence, I can be found on LinkedIn, and we have a Facebook page, a website, and the emails are indicated on this slide. Thank you. So I'll stop sharing now and hand the mic over to Wilfred or Evans. Please kindly take over. I have a very noisy background from my end, and I can't seem to be hearing anyone. I don't know whether anyone has taken over me, but thank you so much, and I hope to see whether anyone has got any questions. Feel free to ask me in the chat, and it will be shared.
All right, thank you so much, Celeste. Yeah, thank you so much, Celestine, for the presentation.
Okay, thank you. I hope I'm within the time limit.
Yes.
Okay.
So again, thanks for the audience for staying up to this moment. This marks the end of our presentation, and I'll just open the floor for some few questions that came in as we were presenting. So the first question will be going to Titus and Esther. So the question is from Mary, and she's asking, from your experience, what kind of e-commerce website design attract customers? So maybe we can start with you, Esther, and maybe after that, Titus, if you have something to add.
Okay, so the question is, what type of websites for e-commerce attracts customers? That's the question, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, so that's a good question. Yeah. What I can say is that, you need to put the user first. This big tech companies always say, put the user first. So you have to think about what are the needs of that user when they're interacting with your website. So when you think about e-commerce, okay, e-commerce, yeah, it's just online, business, but it could be, people have different businesses and they have different services, and one site might not work for another business. Therefore, the question that the SMB should ask themselves is, what am I offering? What is my how do people interact with my business, with my products and services? What is the buying cycle? Is it like a shoe? If it's a shoe, maybe someone can just come and order online and then they go. But if you are selling a very particular service, then maybe that is not the buying cycle, and that might determine a different type of site. So there's the simple answer is that there's no one size fit all. What I can say is that the basics still remain the same. Put the user first, and ensure that your customers can be able to engage with your site appropriately. And all the basics, it's landing, the speed is maximum 4 seconds. It's a good customer experience on mobile, especially on mobile. Create mobile sites, so that people can be able to, because most people are using their mobile phones, especially in Africa. It's a mobile first. Mobile first continent. Yeah. So mobile site speed, images are clear. I don't need to start squinting. If I want to see a shoe, I don't have to start doing this. When people start to do this, I just need to see it. And all the basics that I talked about, high quality pictures. Yeah, just ensure you do that, and keep getting feedback from your customers, by the way. Okay, so I can give you my experience, but that is not the end. Listen to your customers and ask them, how was your experience, and try and change as much as it makes sense. Titus, you can back me up if I've forgotten anything.
So, I think when I think of e-commerce, there are various channels and platforms that you can base your e-commerce on. In fact, I did a presentation on this a while ago. So what I think is, number one, you need to look at the kind of product that you're selling. And number two, you also need to look at the kind of audience that you're targeting with your e-commerce. So for example, assuming you're selling something like, say, some shoes, whereby you're targeting, say, someone who doesn't necessarily have a smartphone, then platforms such as Facebook Shop can be good for you. But if you're selling maybe bigger, higher value products, then you would want to invest in a bit higher specialized e-commerce platforms now, such as WooCommerce and Shopify and the others. Yes.
Insight. I have 2 more questions. The next one will be going to Celeste. So we have somebody who has asked, what is the biggest marketing hack you would swear by? It's quite a tricky one. So the question is, what is the biggest marketing hack that you would swear by? So Celeste. And of course, Esther, Titus, feel free to jump in. Yeah.
The biggest marketing hack that that I would care to share. Is that what you're asking?
Hello? Yes. So the biggest marketing hack that you'd swear by?
For me, the biggest marketing hack is content. And the content involves you having empathy in the content that you're sharing, not necessarily making content for selling, but content that informs and teaches your audience. If you get that right, the sales naturally come after, because you project yourself as a subject matter expert when you're talking about your service or talking about your product. The first thing is to create content that informs, that enables you to come out as an expert, and then the sales come after. So in your mind, have that knowledge and information as a first thing. So that's empathy.
Great. Anything to add?
The greatest, I'll not necessarily call it a hack, is data. So anytime you're doing a campaign or anytime you're doing your advertising, you need to do proper data analysis, and that's exactly what's going to guide your direction and the kind of strategy that you'll have. So if you don't get it right on the data analysis side, you will end up targeting the wrong people, and that means you'll spend your money and you'll not get any return on investment. So for me, I would say data analysis as the first point of doing any advertising.
Thank you.
Yeah, those are very strong points that have been shared by Celestine and Titus. The only thing that I would add is you also need to understand yourself. In as much as you are going to look at what your competitor is doing or what other tech giants are doing, it's important to just really know yourself, be confident in yourself, love yourself, because it starts with you, okay? And if it starts with you, it's going to be evident to the people that approach you. Yeah, but if you don't believe in yourself and you don't know yourself, it's going to be evident, and people will also not sure. They'll also be unsure about you because you're also sending the energy that you are unsure about yourself. And also knowing yourself really determines how you choose what type of content, as Celestine is talking about, to focus on, or what type of data that you're going to focus on. And maybe let me just give a very quick example. Like for me, I'm a youth inspirational blogger. I've been blogging for the last 7 years. It's strictly around, business, entrepreneurship, careers. You not go to my blog and start seeing gossip, or even if I know gossip will increase the amount of views on my blog, that is not me. I'd rather still struggle with the limited views that I have because I know myself. Yeah. So that's very important. Don't get lost in the whole social media space trying to fit in everything.
So making sure that you're yourself, using data, and you have the content. So thank you so much for that. Maybe the last question, and this is directed to me, is asking, how can Google My Business help with keywords? Can you elaborate on that? All right, so I think just as I did explain a little earlier, under Insights, the platform allows you to collect quite a number of information on how people interact with your profile. One of that is the keywords that people always use. So the search terms, what can also be defined as keywords. So the platform will collect, say, the top 10 most used search terms that people use to find your platform. So that information will be packaged and it will be available to you as a business owner. So there are quite a number of things that you can be able to do with that. One of them being incorporating those frequently used search terms. If you are to run ads, then you incorporate them as your keywords when you're running ads. The other way that you can use them is with the promotional codes, with the promotional posts. You can be able to incorporate these search terms so that, again, you get high traffic in terms of when you share that message out with that phrase, then it gets an increased number of views. So those are some of the 2 ways that you can use the keywords that are generated from Google My Business. So I think because of the interest of time, I'll stop at that point. And maybe just as a closing remark, I'll ask each of the participants just to share a 1-minute final take on this subject, and then we'll take it back to our host.
Is it Wilfred? Wilfred, excuse us, we're having a serious connection problem, both the moderator and myself, so we're forced to close. We know all questions are not answered, but we guarantee to all participants that questions will go back to all the speakers, and speakers definitely will take their time, and we will send all their responses together with our proceedings. Thank you so much, all the participants and speakers. This had been able to learn about the different existing tools that can make you visible. This critical time where our members and the rest of our concerned team want this information at most. I also would like to thank Evans, who had been moderating the event from Africa 118. I thank you all again, and my sincere thanks goes to our sponsor, SIDA, that had been helpful in supporting us in organizing this third webinar. My thanks as well goes to Initiative Africa that's coordinating this program. Our next webinar will be in November, and we'll be organizing it under around the theme African Continental Free Trade Agreement, the ACFTA, and what does it have for women in business. So we will be having speakers from the UNECA, professionals in the area. So you are all invited. We'll communicate to you all on the date and time, which we are thinking of end of November. Thank you so much. Again, all participants and speakers, it had been indeed a great session. Hope to see you in our upcoming next month's webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Stay on.